segment. But I took this really flat, sort of flathead brush, and I got it wet with water. This is my fake water right now. And then I just sort of drug it across this black shadow, like so. Making sure I keep it flat because I want to have a nice tip on that. And then that makes a liner. So if you don't have eyeliner and you want some eyeliner, if you have black shadow or a dark brown shadow, you're good to go. And then all I did was I gently pressed it across my lid like so. And I like to do it with my eye open. Other people like to pull it shut. And then I also made a wing. Not really a wing, like a barely wing, because I don't like a huge wing, but just enough to point my shadow out at the end and sort of elongate my eye. And in order to do that, you want to follow, and which one's better? Probably this one. You want to follow the angle of your lower lash line, and you just want to keep continuing up. So it has nothing to do with your top lash line. I'm getting mascara, or what is this? Eyeliner everywhere. You just want to follow and continue that lower lash line. And the same thing over here, and this one's a little less perfect, so I'm going to try and touch it up here. There, it's all better. Okay, so that was my trick. So for mascara, I'm just going to curl my lashes. Ouch, and I cannot see that far away, so we're going to use this handy dandy close mirror. Curling your lashes makes a huge difference, even if you're wearing false lashes, which I'm not going to go into those on this video, but if you guys want a video on that, I can make you one another time. This is just basic makeup. So curl those lashes, and that makes a big difference, even if you're wearing false ones. So now I'm just going to go in with my mascara. This is a Tarte mascara that I really like. Keep this close. And blink it on and wiggle at the same time, back and forth to get separation. So wiggling gives you separation, which helps with some volume, and then blinking helps give you length. If you've ever wondered why you put mascara on the way you do. I usually like to beef up my mascara with a couple of layers, but I'll just do one for the sake of the video. Getting a hair in it. Oops. Trying really hard to keep my mouth closed. Get the inner corner, you just sort of turn your face to get those little hairs in the side. Okay, no one probably wants to watch me put my mascara. I'm gonna go over a little bit with brows now. So I have this sort of cream concealer in a really fair color because this is gonna be my brow highlight. You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna show you because it's something I think makes a big difference. So after you've brushed through your brows, if they're a pretty good shape, and you don't need to fill them in first then, but I'm just gonna take this and sort of right underneath my arch, just pressing a little bit of color, not a lot, again, just a little bit, to sort of highlight that area. This can also help me see if my brows are even or haywire. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my ring finger, which is clean, and I'm just gonna sort of gently blend that out. And then if you want to, you can go over that with like a light powder and sort of set it. And if you feel like it's falling onto your other eyeshadow, you can do it first before you do your eyeshadow, or you can just blend it with your blending brush. And that'll give you a nice smooth transition. Okay, so I'm wondering now if it even showed you underneath the eye. Underneath the eye, all I did was take the same crease colors that I used and I just pressed them underneath my eye with this smaller fluffy brush. Okay, before I do brows, I'm going to clean up underneath my eyes because it just makes you look 1,000 times better and way less like a raccoon. So I just have some micellar water and I'm going to just brush it away. I like to fold these in half, they're little rounds, because it gives me a nice straight edge for when I come out to the side here. And then I just look straight ahead and I follow that same contour from underneath my lash line and clean it up a little. Okay, I'm gonna do that over here. And this gets rid of all that eyeshadow fallout and everything. And just follow that same line out. Okay, pretty good. Maybe not super. It's hard for me to tell in my lighting because half of it's a window, half of it's a ring light, but it works. Okay, so already so much prettier looking, right? Now, easiest way, unless you have like perfectly shaped brows, that's great. Just fill them in however you normally would. But if you feel like your brows aren't a great shape and you need some help, Anastasia Beverly Hills makes these great little brow arch templates. Is that what it's? Stencils. Obviously you're not gonna like paint it on, but if you're in a hurry or if you just need a lot of help with your brows, this is gonna be your lifesaver. So I have a little brow brush here. I like to use a powder to fill my brows in. That's just my personal preference. You can also use a pencil, both work. So for example, I'm just gonna line this up with my arch. This is their medium arch one. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to use. I don't do this normally. Normally I just fill them in myself, but I'm pretending that I'm not good at doing my brow for the sake of video. And I'm just gonna go in with my powder and I'm literally just smacking it on here to show you how easy this is to use. Okay, I'm gonna take it off, and obviously there's this little dent there because that's where the stencil is, so we're gonna fill that in. And we're gonna brush through it to soften it. And I'm gonna add a little bit here with little hair strokes. Voila, easy as pie. I'm gonna do the other side. So it's nice because there's these lines on it, so you can line it up correctly. So you wanna make sure your straight lines are straight and your angled lines are angled, but not too much. Sorry, lighting. Okay, and we're just gonna fill this one in. And do the same thing here. Okay. Take it off, finish filling in. I'm just using like a blonde brow powder that I've had for probably going on 2 years, so it's almost gonna be expired, but still kicking. Brush through. Okay, and now I'm going to touch up and sort of try to match their shape wherever I feel like they're still a little off. And remember, your brows are never going to be exactly the same. They're just not. You've heard it probably 1,000 times, but brows are sisters, not twins. Okay, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. It's good enough for me. Alright, for your face, clear this hair out of here. You are probably going to want a primer. If you have pores or a lot of wrinkles or fine lines, you're going to want a smoothing primer. This is Smashbox. It's an amazing primer. The ingredients are not terrible, but if you want a cheap smoothing primer on a budget, pretty sure e.l.f. Cosmetics makes a smoothing primer. It's a similar consistency and does the same sort of features as this, but it's like $6. So for that one-time use on your wedding day, I would go with the e.l.f. Cosmetics one. I'm just gonna use this one because this is the one I have in my personal makeup. Another great primer, if you don't have if your skin's not super oily and it actually is on the drier end, Makeup Forever makes a great nourishing primer. It almost looks like a moisturizer, but it helps smooth the pores as well. And you can buy that in like a sample size off of their website, which is great if you're just using it, again, a couple of times. Definitely a more economical option. So I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of this, and I'm just gonna use my fingers, and I'm going to smooth this on my face, starting where I have the most trouble with my texture and oiliness. Feels like velvet, and this is going to make a huge difference in how your skin appears. And I like to put it on in a downward motion because you have little hairs on your face. And if you go in an upward motion, you're going to encourage them to stick up and be fluffy. And nobody wants a fluffy face on their wedding day. Now we're going to go into foundation. This is the one area where I feel like you should splurge, but anyway. I'm using Makeup Forever because it looks the best on camera. However, if no one's going to be taking your picture on your wedding day because of COVID-19, then just use whatever foundation you have. Or you can get like a drugstore brand like Maybelline Fit Me or L'Oreal Infallible. Those are both good options. And much cheaper than a full-blown foundation. I'm so bad at talking. Alright, so I'm just going to get this eyeliner off my hand. So I'm going to squeeze a few pumps on here, and you can see, if I hold it up to my face, it's just a little bit dark for my skin. So this is not a great recommendation, but I'm going to lighten it. I have a significantly lighter concealer, so I'm just going to lighten it a little bit and mix it around with my concealer to get a good match. Most important thing for matching foundation to your skin is to, if your dress is going to show your chest, you want to match it to your chest because you don't want your face, your neck, and your chest to all be different colors. You want them to be one seamless piece. So even if your face is a little tanner or your face is a little darker, it doesn't matter, you want to match it to your chest. So that's my recommendation, and this didn't really mix the way I wanted it to, so we're just going to lighten it a little. Alright, it's not perfect, but it'll do because I'm not actually getting married. Already did that. Been that, done there. Alright, so you can see as I blend it out, oh look, it practically disappears. So that's a close enough match for me, for myself. Now you can use a brush to apply this. You can use whatever you want. I'm gonna actually go in with a sponge. You could use your fingers, but I like the way a sponge works, and it helps me sort of maneuver the product around. So my sponge is a little bit damp. It's not sopping wet, otherwise this is not gonna pick up any of the product. Or it's gonna like blend it off my face, which is defeating the point of foundation because you want coverage. So I started in the middle of my face where I needed the most coverage because that's where most people have discoloration or redness, and you want the most color payoff, and you'll get the most color payoff where you start. And I'm just lightly tapping this around my face. And thankfully for you guys, I have a blemish on my chin, so I can show you how to cover a blemish, which is wonderful for you guys. You know, I could do without the blemish, but glad I have it for your own reasons. Pat, pat, pat. Alright, I'm gonna just get some on our forehead. This is like speed patting. It's a little more coverage than I like because I was blending it with a concealer, but it's okay. Alright, anything left, I'm just gonna kind of smush around on my neck because I don't need it anymore.